Hell yeah.
I'd say if the question was who's the best looking, I'd say the guy that sits in the middle.
Well, I can tell you right now, you look like you're from Hawaii, so I think
We're just trying to have fun out here, and our idiot kicker got liquored up.
Yeah, Holiday World for me because I'm not tall enough to ride the roller coasters at Kings Island.
Hell yeah.
Stay in school, kids, so you don't end up like me. They say challenging.
He's a dog.
Had number 2 had Lose Yourself by Eminem.
Okay. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Mom's spaghetti.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, he discuss. And if you like him, that tells me a lot about you.
I was in the gas station today, and a sweet old lady did say hello to me, and I think she was into me.
Question.
We'll get a little bit more serious here. Bigfoot, I know you're out there, and I'm coming for you.
7 Nation Army by the White Stripes.
Number 3. Without chicken.
If you've ever heard a rumor about me, it's definitely true.
Hey Jonathan, you want to come back to the horseshoe?
It's perfect.
I can't even think of it.
I don't even know.
Got it.
I'll look it up
No,
after
how's
this.
it going? How's it going?
I'm not gonna sing with you guys because I'm just too good. Obviously, I'd break glass or something like that, so I don't want to show off.
There's so much class. Long neck, I stole beer, never broke my heart. I think that's a good one. Number 3. Alrighty, and welcome back to the Coaches from the Couch podcast. I'm Carson Rourke. We got Jaden Fry in studio, and then we got Jake coming through the phone. Jake, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Alright, and then so he's here. So we're all 3 back. It is another Wednesday, another podcast. Week 1 is by. I mean, what did you guys, just give me a little recap of week 1. What do you guys think? We're going to go in depth in more games, but what did you guys think of week 1 so far? Go ahead and go, Jaden.
Really rusty. A lot of quarterbacks that you could tell did not play in preseason. A lot of bad throws, a lot of mistakes that shouldn't have been made, but I guess it's just kind of part of it. You want to keep your players healthy so you don't play them in preseason. You're just going to have to deal with that slow week 1 a lot of times, but it's just good to have football back. I mean, just so exciting. I loved it.
Yeah, and then Jake, I know obviously Jake was high on, if you watch this show, Jake was high on the New York Jets, very high. And obviously the talk of week 1 was Monday Night Football, very first drive of Aaron Rodgers. He came out with the American flag. Gave me chills when I saw that video. But very unfortunate. Jake, Aaron Rodgers, what's happening now? Is the Jets good still?
I mean, I've seen really bad teams with really good quarterbacks be really good.
Yeah.
But you don't really ever see really good teams with really bad quarterbacks be good.
Yeah.
You know, or great, I guess you should say. Maybe good, but not great. I'm definitely a little bit worried about it. I'm not nearly as high on the Jets, obviously, now. But an interesting stat from week 1, Tua Tagovailoa was touched less times by a defense than Aaron Rodgers in week 1.
That's crazy.
Tua Tagovailoa was touched less times by a defense.
That's crazy. And in past years, their line isn't that good. By name.
Yeah.
Their name, but obviously if you go out there and play, you're better. Obviously if you're not getting touched.
Well, Carson, who do you think their best O-lineman is?
I've heard a lot of good things from Robert Hunt.
Yeah, but you look on the paper, who's their best lineman?
Teron Armstead, easily.
But he didn't play.
He didn't even play.
Exactly.
He was hurt. So crazy.
Yeah, very fascinating. Obviously, that was the talk of week 1. Everybody was didn't know what happened to Aaron Rodgers at first. I honestly thought it was just a rolled ankle at first. But then when you see the slow-mo video of his literally a pop in his calf, it kind of did not look good from the get-go. But I'm sure you've seen that all over sports shows, sports media. So we're here to talk about week 1 a little bit more in depth. So let's still go ahead and start off with our new segment we've been starting. I guess it's not really a segment, thing we've been doing as a show. and that was week 1. So me and Jacob actually tied. We had a 9-7 record this week 1, and 9-7. I'll take it. I was hoping for better, but at the end of the day, I'm over 500, and so I'll take 9-7. I'll take 9-7 all year.
Week 1's going to be the hardest week of the year, pretty much.
Exactly.
Just because you don't know what these teams look like.
Jake, do you take 9-7?
I wish I would have been 10-6, but I will take 9-7.
That's what I'm saying.
One thing that I will say that I kind of just want to pat myself on the back. I was really worried about the Vikings against the Buccaneers. I don't know why. I just had a feeling the Vikings were going to underperform, that the Buccaneers were going to overperform compared to expectations. So
yeah, speaking of the
glad
Vikings,
I was able to see that one.
Well, actually, I have us all written down for Vikings.
Really?
Yeah. So we all have.
So at the time of then last Wednesday, I did pick the Vikings. But then come about Friday, I changed my mind.
Okay,
and,
gotcha.
I was on the Buccaneers.
And that's the downfall about doing this on Wednesday, because there's a lot of there's injuries that can pop up and all that good stuff. So, we are basing it off of Wednesday, so yes, we could very well change our pick. But we're going off this sheet. So, yes, we all had Vikings. One good thing, give us a pat on the back. We did get the lock of the week, so if you were in a little sleeper league or something, we did give you a free win with the Baltimore Ravens. We all did choose the Ravens. Even though the Ravens didn't look amazing, it's just the Houston Texans. I don't think they're an NFL team. I think they're in like the AFL or something, or the XFL. They do not look like a football team out there. So we did give you the lock of the week. So look forward to that. Most likely going to be against the Houston Texans every week. So we'll see that going forward. So let's go ahead and jump into the week 1. So first game I had written down is obviously the Thursday night game. It was a shoot-off. Started the NFL season. Patrick Mahomes looked slow. The Kansas City Chiefs, they don't have wide receivers. Kadarius Toney, I was high on this year.
Yeah.
He's a statue out there. He just has stone hands. And
that might be the worst game I've ever seen a receiver perform.
Yeah.
I was low on Toney. But I think that even is a fluke. He's not that bad of a
exactly. Kadarius Toney, he was too. I don't even know how to start this. He just flat out was terrible, and the Detroit Lions got it done. Jacob was the only guy to take that out of us three.
I was close to taking it, but I just couldn't do it.
And then I just couldn't go against Patrick Mahomes, and so I just couldn't do it. But Jake, you took the Lions. What made you think the Lions were going to get it done? Obviously no Trav, but I want to know the reason.
Well, a lot of hype coming into the year. The Chiefs aren't necessarily known for starting fast week 1. Usually by week 2, week 3, week 4, they turn it on. But also just, a Super Bowl hangover is a real thing. So I think that played a big factor. But, I like this Lions team. I like the way Jared Goff plays. And I like the pieces he has around him to complement him.
Yeah, and then, since we already spoke on that, you said Super Bowl hangover. Another team that almost had a Super Bowl hangover was the Philadelphia Eagles. And this team, you guys both actually took the Patriots in this game. I actually chose the Eagles here. But they didn't look good either. They did not look like the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Obviously, yes, it is week 1, but yes, that Super Bowl hangover, is that a real thing? You say it is. I feel like in the past we've seen games like this. Is it true?
That's why it has a definition, I believe.
That is true. So I think that is crazy. So I did take the Eagles there. Glad I did, just because of the fact of the Philadelphia Eagles, they're still a way better roster than the Patriots. But I know going into New England is a tough environment. But they got the job done. No Kenneth Gainwell already been reported this week, so we'll talk about that more later. But I'm glad I took the Eagles. So next game I had was the Pittsburgh Steelers and the 49ers. Another team. This Pittsburgh Steelers, they know we're not in preseason anymore. We're playing football.
They have got to fire their offensive coordinator.
That was pitiful.
They have too much offensive talent to be performing like that.
At least the Texans, you expected. The Pittsburgh Steelers were supposed to be really they're supposed to be a very underrated team this year, and that did not look very good. The Pittsburgh Steelers got blown out, and the 49ers just flat out annihilated them. And all 3 phases of the game. Me and Jaden took the 49ers. Jake, you took the Steelers. Jaden, what do you got on the 49ers?
Yeah, like you said, just pure domination. I mean, their pass rush, I think a lot of people already knew it was elite, but they went out there and they established it. I think they had 4 guys ranked in like the top 15 of pass rushers of the week by like PFF grade. Yeah, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with another year. Christian McCaffrey looks like the guy that should have been the real 101. Broke off a long touchdown. They look great.
Yeah, 12 carries. I think it was like 12 carries, 13 carries for over 100 yards. Are you kidding me? I mean, this dude, if he gave the ball times 2, he'd have over 200 yards. That's insane to me. And then you spoke on their pass rush. Now I want to jump on the Steelers. So Jake, you took the Steelers in this game. The Pittsburgh Steelers, there's a rumor going out there that Najee Harris might be losing his job. I don't know the snap count of the Warren and Najee Harris. Najee had 60% of the carries, and Warren had 40%. And a guy that you drafted very high in Najee Harris, as a Steelers fan, that has to be sickening. For not him to be getting a workload, as big as a back he is. So Jake, what do we see with the Steelers now? What do you see?
I mean, I still see to be honest, I see a high school offense. That's what I see. I mean, I don't think I have what it takes to be an offensive coordinator in the NFL. But I do think that I could maybe draw up a better offense just through Madden than Matt Canada that's had this year.
Sorry to interrupt. We just had a Black Hawk run right over our building. So if you guys heard that is a Black Hawk just flew over our building. Helicopter. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
That's awesome. A lot of hitch routes, a lot of slant routes. If they're not throwing a hitch and they're not throwing a slant, they're not running it up the middle. Throw it up to George Pickens. Just the most predictable offense in the world. It's really incredible, the ineptitude of that offense right now. And then to kind of hit on Najee Harris, he looks like his feet are made of concrete. He looks so slow.
Yeah.
He looks so slow, and I don't know if he's always looked like that. I can't quite remember, but geez, he looks slow.
Yeah, and then you mentioned Pickens. Said, Deontay Johnson's out multiple weeks. That's what I heard. The report came out multiple weeks. It's a big loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, obviously they need all the help they can get, and losing their number 1 receiver, that does not always help. Do I think Pickens can step in that role? Easily. Allen Robinson as the 2, I don't know about that. He's had some question marks the past couple of years. So we'll see what the Steelers going forward. We'll make that prediction later for next week. So the next game I had was the Falcons. You both took the Falcons. I took the Panthers. This game was actually a good game most of the game until the very end. I think the run game got the best of the Panthers, kind of like what you guys said going forward. Like, the Atlanta Falcons going in, they're a run-heavy team. Bijan Robinson made a statement early with a nice juke move, looking like he's making a candidate for the Rookie of the Year. So, Jaden, why did you guys take the Falcons, and what do you see the Falcons going forward?
Well, yeah, I just thought what I saw from this team in preseason, they just did not look all that great to me. The receivers can't get open, which doesn't help a rookie quarterback in Bryce Young, and that's exactly what we saw. I mean, they just couldn't really move the ball. Bryce Young made a few mistakes with turnovers. That didn't help, and that just kind of forced the game into the Falcons' hands the way that they want to play. It was disgusting the way they played, too. Desmond Ridder had like 110 passing yards, and they just basically ran the ball, and that's what they do. They're like, Desmond Ridder, don't make any mistakes, and we'll win games, because that's how we play. So.
Yeah, and then so I was just gonna say, I believe you had the Atlanta Falcons winning that division at the beginning of the year. Does that make you change your mind? Like, this team is just run. So I just feel like that's scary. I mean, in a division like the Saints, the Saints look good. So we'll jump to that game here in a second. But the Saints look good, very good run stopping team. I mean, they're gonna force Desmond Ridder to pass the ball, and Drake London, the number 1 receiver, didn't even have a catch. So I don't know what that looks like going forward. I'm very comfortable with my Saints pick winning the division.
Yeah, they look great.
Yeah, and so Jake, do you have anything on the Falcons that you want to speak of?
Yeah, I was just impressed on how they were able to run the football. In my opinion, out of the 3 quarterbacks, I actually think, despite the thumping the Texans took, I think actually Bryce Young looked the worst out of the 3 rookie quarterbacks this week 1, in my opinion. He had 20 completions for 146 yards. Not very eye-popping
Yeah.
But also, it's week 1. We can't crucify anybody on week 1.
It's fun,
You
though.
don't win and lose the season on week 1.
It's fun. Overreacting.
Yeah.
But so I
Absolutely.
spoke on the Saints. Let's go ahead and jump to that game next. So the Saints looked really good at football. They look like a very good team that can do something in the NFL this year. I see this is overreacting. Obviously, this is week 1, but I feel like the Saints have a really good chance to win a playoff game with that elite defense. That defense is elite, and then Derek Carr. He came in there just saying, here, leadership. He's just going to lead this team. And he made some very nice plays, very nice throws. And this is without a superstar running back in Alvin Kamara. So this offense is just even going to get better. Very good offensive line. I like the Saints going forward.
Yeah, what surprised me the most about them was because I had a lot of questions. I liked a lot of the Saints players. I like Carr. I love Chris Olave, one of my favorite players. But last year their offense was so non-creative. They just were so conservative with their play calling. And we saw a lot of creativity, I think. I think they feel so confident in Derek Carr. You saw a lot more deep shots down the field. And it's not just Taysom Hill Wildcat formation. They're like running Chris Olave in the backfield and doing a lot of advanced stuff that you didn't see from them last year. So, yeah, that kind of blew me away. I did not expect to see that week 1. And, yeah, they should be a team to keep your eye on for sure.
Yeah, Saints look good. Jake, anything on the Saints?
Not quite the Saints, but I do have something on the Titans. I'm actually still really high on D-Hop. He had 13 targets week 1.
That's true.
So I think from a fantasy wise, I think he's going to look really good. But man, speaking of ineptitude, how about that offense?
Well, yeah,
Titans offense.
Ryan Tannehill is definitely he's running out of stamina. Let's say in the NFL, I think he's probably about to lose his job. I think he could lose it this year. Malik Willis had a really good preseason, and then you have Will Levis, obviously. So I mean, I think you could very well see them if they don't have a good if they don't have a good record by week 6 or something, week 5. If they're like 1-5, 1-4, you could possibly think like, all right, Titans might make a move here. You know what I mean? Just prepare for this future. Do I hope the Titans are terrible? Yes, I am not a Titans guy whatsoever. I'd take the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Texans over them any day in our division. I cannot stand the Titans.
Yeah, Tannehill just looked terrible, man.
Yeah.
You said D-Hop had 13 targets. It looked like, he gave D-Hop a lot of targets because that's the only guy he was seeing on the field. It's like that tunnel vision that some quarterbacks get sometimes, where he got too comfortable with D-Hop too early, he didn't know how to look anywhere else, and that just shot their offense in the foot. Yeah, real ugly from them. They need to bounce back next week.
Yes, and then moving on, I'm not going to talk much about this game. We spoke on a little bit. Ravens, they handled their business. That was our lock of the week. Not even going to talk about it unless you guys have anything on the Ravens. I don't think
sucks for J.K. Dobbins. I just want to say that. Yeah. He looked like he was in for a big year.
Yeah, so Dobbins did get hurt. Zay Flowers looks like a guy. He looks like a wide receiver 1. Lamar Jackson and that offense loved him. But Mark Andrews is back at practice today. Big for them. Jake, anything? All right, and then moving on, staying in the division, we had probably the worst game I've ever seen from Joe Burrow. So obviously we're talking about the Bengals and the Browns. I had the Browns in that game. For some reason going in, I just knew Cleveland was going to get it done. You both had the Bengals. I know going in, it's hard to bet against Joe Burrow. I mean, it's kind of like that with Patrick Mahomes' deal. I feel like that's kind of the mindset. But going into it, Cleveland, I just knew no preseason for Joe Burrow. He was already supposed to be out till week 5. Nick Chubb's a guy. Deshaun Watson, I feel like he's going to have that revenge year. I was big on the Browns. Browns got it done in a good way too. So for the Cleveland Browns, I think they can be a big team this year in the AFC.
Yeah, I was super disappointed in the Bengals. We've obviously had our struggles with I'm a Bengals fan. We've had our struggles with the Browns the past couple of years, and it just seems like the same old thing. We can't get over that hump with them. Their corners were playing a super physical, gave T. Higgins a ton of problems. And I don't know why we decided we think we need to run RPOs. We were one of the most RPO-heavy teams of the week. That's not how our offense should work. We need to be more of a vertical offense. It just looks like our play calling was stuck in the past. We need to kind of advance it, and that's kind of how it was last year. We were really vanilla to start the year, and then we got better. We need to see that develop, or we're going to have problems.
Jake, anything?
Yeah, I'm opposed to you. I don't think the Browns will be as good as they should be this year with the $225 million quarterback. I think Deshaun Watson, I just think he's not good anymore. He looked really bad in my opinion. Sunday they put up 24 points, but I mean the rushing yards were insane.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Deshaun Watson, I think he's just not very good anymore.
Yeah, he missed a lot of throws in that game. I saw Deshaun Watson probably run more than I've seen in a while. He did run quite a bit. He had a long, 15-yard rushing touchdown. But, yeah, he definitely did miss some throws. It is week 1. But
it was in the rain, too.
Week 1 is all about overreacting, and I like it. So, going forward, hopefully the Browns get the passing game on point. And Elijah Moore's a guy. He looked good. Elijah Moore looked really good. But moving on, a game we all missed. We all had the Minnesota Vikings. And I remember saying this on the show, contemplating on the Buccaneers. You can't sleep on that offense. And the defense is a really good run-stopping team. That's what kind of made me hesitate, because Vikings aren't a running team. So, but man, oh man, did the Buccaneers passing game defensively look good. And then Baker Mayfield looked really good. He was stiff-arming guys like Derrick Henry to get first downs. And that's good. I'm happy for Baker Mayfield. I feel like he's always been in the wrong here. I feel like to go to Tampa Bay, win his first game, I think it's a big boost for him, and get Mike Evans his first touchdown of the year, which is big for his little situation he's having with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I think with the Vikings, you saw a lot of the same problems you saw last year. Kind of left off on the same page that they left off last year. Where Dexter Lawrence just completely shut down their offense by getting pressure and stopping the run up the middle. That interior offensive line is just awful for them. So weak up front, and they got destroyed again. And that's probably not going to get any better this week with their matchup, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yep. Jake, anything?
I think that, it's more... This is more about the Vikings underachieving and less about the Buccaneers overachieving. The Vikings, I just don't know. I feel like you know what you're going to get out of them, always. You always know what you're going to get. I think they play to their competition. That's the type of team they are. That's the type of team they've always been.
Yeah, one thing that made me a little shocked, though, is, they underperformed in the pass. Kirk underperformed in the passing. Kirk's the type of guy, he's throwing over 300 yards a game. But he didn't have that many. And he had a lot of interceptions. I think he had 2. So I just feel like it was an off game for them. Obviously, it's week 1. But it's mind-blowing that they were at home and they lost that, right? They were at home.
Yep.
So a little shocking there. Moving on, we have a game that was super boring. I took the Arizona Cardinals. You guys took the Commanders. The Cardinals actually had the lead in the fourth quarter, so I was actually kind of excited about that. I don't know why I took the Cardinals. I was just feeling it. I feel like Gannon was going to get it done. Dobbs didn't look bad. I'm just so glad that game wasn't very televised. I mean, Red Zone showed it barely. Just happy that game wasn't televised that much and shown that much. But you guys took the Commanders. Anything on the Commanders? Anything on the Cardinals? Anybody?
Nope.
Too bad teams.
Too bad teams. I agree.
I was wrong about Sam Howell.
Yeah.
At least week 1. I think.
Yeah, at least week 1. It's good to
they're going to end up being pretty bad teams.
Yeah. So we already talked about the Saints. Let's go ahead and move on to our hometown team right there. And the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. You guys took the Jaguars. I took the Colts. Another team. Colts were leading in the fourth quarter. Defense played really, really well for the Indianapolis Colts. Really, really well. Had Trevor Lawrence on his toes a lot. Big question mark for them. I said this going into the year, and the reason why I think the Colts have a chance to still win the division, Trevor Lawrence is running for his life. He's getting hit every single play. Lost Brandon Sheriff in that game, his best lineman. I don't know how long he's out. I haven't heard a report. But the only thing I have on the Jacksonville Jaguars, they have Trevor Lawrence, and Calvin Ridley's a guy. Calvin Ridley is back in the NFL, and he came back with a statement on a pretty good Colts team. I mean, yeah, besides their secondary is not very strong, but he still made a good comeback point.
Yeah,
right there.
he didn't miss a beat.
Exactly. Do you have anything on them?
Yeah, I think you guys looked good at the places you want to look good for what you should expect.
Mm-hmm.
I think Anthony Richardson probably did a little bit better than some people would expect. He still made some mistakes, but I think that's what everyone expected. I think the offensive line really stuck out. I think your line looked pretty good.
I think that, I honestly, compared to the other rookie quarterbacks, I think that his accuracy problems are a little overrated. Like, I think compared to the other rookies, like, he wasn't too inaccurate too often. I mean, there were a couple.
I mean, he was throwing a lot of short passes, but
the only one that caught my eye was the interception. I feel like everything else was a normal like, you know, I mean, obviously quarterbacks are going to miss throws. Everybody does it every game, but I feel like the only one he really messed up on was the little corner route he threw an interception to. But like, other than that though, like, he actually had some very good throws. He had a ball like 20 yards to Ogletree, the tight end, and Ogletree got absolutely clobbered, but it was a very good throw. Ogletree's on concussion protocol, but I feel like the Colts going forward are just fine. I really do. If we can have that Anthony Richardson all year, you guys can't hate on my pick of the Colts winning the division. I feel like we have a good chance.
I'm definitely a lot more high. I think we're an 8-9 team this year, which is a lot better than I thought.
And I had us as a 10 win, so I'm getting you closer. But yes, defense looked really good. Colts need Jonathan Taylor back. Bad, very bad. We had a running back that game that could do anything besides lose the ball. Heck, if we just had
2 fumbles from the same running back.
Exactly. If we just had a guy that like Quentin Nelson, if we could just throw him back there just to pass block or something. And not fumble the ball. We would actually probably would have had a really good chance to win that game. We had 2 fumbles from Dion, like you said. Evan Hall had 1 good run. He got in, had a 12-yard run, and then he did something to his knees on IR. So poor guy for him. Colts going forward, I'm fine with. Jags, they look good. Need to fix the offensive line. Anything else? Nothing? Okay. And then moving on, probably my biggest upset of the week I hit on was I had the Los Angeles Rams beating the Seahawks. Matthew Stafford looked like a guy. He looked like he's back. And what's the receiver's name?
Puka Nacua.
That dude right there. That's Cooper Kupp. I mean, he had like 12 catches for over 100 yards. I believe he had a touchdown too. Tutu Atwell's a guy too, apparently. That just came down to show I have the Rams winning that division. Or no, I don't have them winning the division. I have them going to the playoffs. That just shows, though, how good Matt Stafford and Sean McVay are together. And I think this team, without Cooper Kupp and they're beating the Seahawks, a good team. I just don't like Geno. That is a very good statement win to start the year.
Yeah, it's kind of shameful that Cooper Kupp got hurt. Because the way Matthew Stafford was looking, like he looked like prime Matthew Stafford. He was making throws that Patrick Mahomes couldn't even make.
Yeah.
He was elite.
Sidearming.
Everything.
Running, yeah.
He was lights out.
Yep.
So Cooper Kupp was probably into having a monster season, but he still could. Hopefully he does that when he comes back,
yep.
But there's going to be a little delay on that.
Yep. Anything, Jake?
Nope.
Okay. And then moving on, we have the Raiders and the Broncos. We all took the Raiders, so that was another kind of lock for us. Raiders hit for us, so that was a pretty good game. The game was kind of all over the place a little bit. Jimmy G looked like a guy that's Jake. What am I gonna say?
He wins football games.
He just wins football games, and he went to the Raiders and he won the game.
He was doing a little bit more than game managing, though. I thought I've never seen Jimmy G play like that. Usually he's just a sit in the pocket, make the quick reads. He was scrambling a little bit, getting outside the pocket.
Another thing that number one thing I loved about, he got absolutely clobbered. Had to go to the blue tent. Next thing you know, Brian Hoyer came in one play, and then he literally came out running to Josh McDaniels, and he's like, I'm going out there on like 3rd or 4th down. And then he throws a touchdown pass, and it's just like, who doesn't want that guy as his quarterback? He wants to be out there. He wants to do everything he can for the team. I think the Raiders can be a sleeper. I know they need to get Chandler Jones back. That'll really help their team. They have a decent offensive line. Josh Jacobs even had a bad week but against a really good Denver Bronco defense, but he even had a down week, which he was the number 1 running back last year. This Raiders team, who knows what they're going to be like? I think they could be decent after week 1. Is this an overreaction? Maybe. But
no, I'm on your wavelength. I think they're the second best team in the division. Honestly, I think they only scored 17 points because they faced a stout defense. But I think they have a really good shot to be the second best team in the division.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair point. I mean, week 1, what we saw, yes, I totally agree. And then so moving on, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. Jake and I took the Packers. Jaden took the Bears. Looks like the same old Chicago Bears. The Bears are down.
Like a team that had the number 1 pick in the draft last year.
Yeah. It doesn't look like getting a guy like DJ Moore doesn't matter when you don't give him the ball. So yeah, it's like the same Bears to me. And Green Bay Packers still went in there and said, yeah, it's still my field, still my city. Jordan Love's just taking over the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and he says now it's my era. And so it looks like Chicago's still run through Green Bay. So
yeah, to me, what I took away from that game was Green Bay looked great. Their pass protection really stuck out.
Yeah.
They kept Jordan Love clean. They had the best pass blocking of the week, I believe. But I think it was more about just how bad the Bears are, more than it was how good the Packers are.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, you gotta love David Bakhtiari just throwing the bird up to the fans. Did you see that mid play?
I did.
And so that's awesome. Good for him. I'm sure he received a couple birds back. So good for him. Anything, Jake?
Yeah, not at all. I mean, the Packers, man. Jordan Love. He's a guy. I think he's a guy. I think he could be a top 12 quarterback in the league. He was really impressive with his throws, really impressive. But just like Jason said, this more goes to show how bad the Bears are.
Yeah, and then it also always helps too when you have a run game. I mean, Aaron Jones looked like prime Aaron Jones. A.J. Dillon still looks like he should be working at Walmart or a convenience store. He does not look like he should be on the NFL field. Hopefully he can turn that around because he's on half of my fantasy teams. For whatever the reason, he's 280 pounds and he can't score a touchdown on the 1 yard line. So hopefully going forward he fixes that problem. Anything else on that game? Nothing? Okay. Moving on, we have the Chargers. We all took the Chargers. And that was probably the shock of the week. I feel like the Chargers going in, hype team. I mean, they got Eric Kendricks. They got Derwin James healthy. I mean, this team has a lot of elite power. And then Tua is just a guy. I mean, there's just, like you said, you touched on the pass protecting earlier. They still ran the ball. Mostert looked good. Tyreek Hill, I mean, this dude's a freak. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, he's like the same vein as Randy Moss, which might sound insane, but just how he has a level, some physical quality, which is his speed, that is just so overpowering. It doesn't matter who's lined up across from him, he's a mismatch. Especially when they got him running the arena football in motion, so he gets a running start. Yeah. Absolutely unguardable.
Well, that's what I was going to give props to. It's I know he drills on the sideline, but it's awesome. It's cool. And when the plays he designs, like you said, where he gets that running start and that motion, he's already getting off. I mean, he might not be running that 4.4, 4.3 speed, but he's running a 4.8, 4.9 through that line of scrimmage, and then he kicks it right into high gear right off the get-go because he's already running a 4.8, and then he jumps into that 4.3 speed on a in route that's going 15 yards out. You can't stop it because obviously the defensive back doesn't get a running start because he's just standing there. So it is just a cheat code. That play is. I don't know how it's defendable. Obviously, I think the only way you can't run man-to-man. They were running man-to-man, the Chargers were. We're trying to run it with J.C. Jackson. You got to be running a zone against that team, I feel like. I feel like there's no way you can run man-to-man and stop that route. Anything, Jake?
No, I completely agree. Yeah, the Dolphins will probably definitely be a good team this year, especially if Tua's throwing the way he did. I just think of one play where he stepped up in the pocket, he escaped the pressure and chucked a perfect dime to Tyreek down the field. Man, as much as it pains me to say, I think the Dolphins could be good.
I totally agree as well. Moving on, I don't think this one's going to take long. Jake took the Giants. Me and Jaden took the Cowboys.
What do you even say about that game?
Okay, so we talked about the Texans. We talked about the Steelers being bad. I mean, the Giants were the worst team in the NFL Sunday night. That was bad. Like, I've never watched a Sunday night football game and almost fell asleep. That was bad.
The Cowboys literally could have punted the football every first down, and they still would have won the game. That's how bad the Giants were.
So we've talked about some bad offensive lines throughout this show so far. The Giants, I mean, they look like I don't know if you're watching The Longest Yard. You know when they hike the ball and they don't even block, they just let the guys go through and Adam Sandler gets crushed. That's what it was. I mean, Micah Parsons is having a field day. Giants left Daniel Jones out there the whole game. They were down 40. He's still out there getting sacked. I thought that was mind-blowing that happened, and I thought it was terrible. Micah Parsons even came out and said, like, how do you leave your franchise quarterback out there in that long? I give all the props to Daniel Jones to, like, try to still fight and do everything, but Giants have a lot of work to do. That did not look like the same New York Giants last year.
Rough week for New York teams. The Jets and the Giants. I know the Jets won, but obviously lost Aaron Rodgers. And the Giants, just an absolute no-show. Tough.
Anything, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly gotta be against the law to keep Daniel Jones out there with like backup.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that's honestly like Brian Daboll should honestly be like arrested for that, because that's ridiculous. I don't know. Like, I understand in college you're like trying to set a culture, and those are your recruits, those guys are pretty replaceable, but man, it's a quarterback that you paid a lot of money for, so I don't understand it.
Yeah. Moving on. Knew we wouldn't talk about that one very long. There wasn't much to talk about. Then there was just the Jets and Bills, which we kind of touched on already. We're just going to kind of send through it. Jake got the Jets right. We took the Bills. Second half, after the first drive of the Jets, Jay and I thought we had it. I thought it was Bills easily. Jake still got the point here because Josh Allen just can't check the ball down.
Yeah.
He has a cannon, but he loves to use it, and he doesn't know how to simmer down. He's throwing the ball like 70 yards to Jets cornerbacks and safeties. He needs a little fixing up to do. And then a cool stat, I don't know if you guys saw, Jordan Whitehead, he like needed an incentive for like 3 interceptions of the year. And he got like 3. I think he got
3 in one game.
Yeah, 3 in one game. So he got that $250K in week 1. Good for him. That was pretty cool. I don't know if that's ever been done.
Yeah.
But
Josh Allen is just that guy. He's going to be wild. He's going to be chaotic. You never know what game it's going to be because he literally can't stop himself. Like after he made that first mistake, you could tell he realized, like, oh no, here we go again. I'm in that mode where I make a lot of mistakes, and he can't snap himself out of it. He keeps taking hits he doesn't need to take, just chucking the ball up, fumbling snaps. He was dreadful. All he had to do was not do the turnovers, and they win the game. Play like Desmond Ridder, Bills easily win that game.
Yeah, because they didn't run the ball. And then when they did run the ball, they didn't have bad running attempts there. So that wraps up our Week 1 recap. Like I said, Jacob went 9-7. I went 9-7. Jaden went 8-8. It is just Week 1. A lot of overreacting here. We are going to take a short break, and then we will give our predictions on next week's games. It'll be really quick because next week we'll talk about these games, kind of like what we did in the first half, and then we'll just kind of go through and predict real quick. So this will be a quicker second half, but we'll take a quick break, and then we'll get ready for Week 2 and more football, more NFL. You got to love it. Alrighty, welcome back to CFTC. We are moving into our second segment of the day, and it's talking about Week 2. Week 2 going forward. I'm excited for Week 2. Week 1 was a little bit of a downfall here, but moving on to Week 2, we're going to just flat out start off, and this is going to be kind of quick. So we're just you can say a few words, say what you want, but this is going to be a little faster, and then right after this, we'll say final words, and then we'll move on and be ready for Week 2 football. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me move to this. And then first game, Jaden. So we got the Vikings at the Eagles. What do you got?
I have the Eagles easily taking this one. Like I said earlier, that interior offensive line for the Vikings is a real concern. And especially with how good Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter looked against the Patriots, it could be a disaster for the Vikings, I really think. I think it could be a blowout, possibly.
Okay, Jake, who you got?
Yeah, so it turns out I think I'm more low than I thought on the Vikings. With all the talent they had, I got the Eagles.
Eagles, okay. And I'm following suit here. So, wow, very first game, we are all picking the same exact thing. So, Eagles. And what's crazy...
I just think it's sorry to cut you off. I just think it's a matchup nightmare for the Vikings.
Yeah,
and it's just, the Eagles are good at, the Vikings aren't strong at.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think, though. This team was just very good last year. So, but they still are a good team, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously, Week 1's overreacting, so who knows? They might win. Moving on, we have the Packers and Falcons. Jade, who you got?
This is probably the toughest game of the week for me to predict, just because I don't really know, like I said, how good Jordan Love and the Packers are.
It's at Falcons, too.
Yeah. I had the Falcons winning the division, so I guess I'm going to keep riding high with them. I think the Packers very well could win this game, but I'm just going to go Falcons.
Okay. Jake, who you got?
I'm actually, since I'm a lunatic, I think this is actually the game I'm most excited for this week. I'm excited about Jordan Love. I don't know. I'm excited to watch him play. I'm going to go Packers.
And I'm following Jake on this one. I'm taking the Packers. The Green Bay defense is really good. So I feel like they're going to make Desmond Ridder pass the ball. And so we'll see what Desmond Ridder's made of. So moving on, we have the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Buffalo Bills at Buffalo. Jade, who you got?
Yeah, I think Josh Allen definitely has a bad taste in his mouth. I don't see him having that disastrous of a game two games in a row. And I think, the Bills probably come out at home, have an offensive explosion, and I think they take care of the Raiders pretty easily.
Jake, who you got?
I think the Raiders win this game the same way they're going to win a lot of games this year. They're going to hold the ball. They're going to milk the clock. Josh Jacobs is going to get 20 carries. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to make the correct throw to win the game. I got the Raiders.
I like that pick, but I'm taking the Bills. I think this game's going to be very close game. The reason why I say the Bills make it quick is because who knows about Jacoby Myers? Jacoby Myers was a guy last week. So he showed that he can be a receiver one in this NFL league. But who knows about him? So I'm just going to take my risk here and say the Bills win, and I think they bounce back just because it's at Bills Mafia. So give me Bills. Ravens, Bengals. Jaden, who you got? At Cincinnati.
Bengals obviously didn't look too good last week. The Ravens looked a little bit better, but the Ravens have a lot of injuries. I'm usually not concerned if it's just one injury, but they're down. They lost a safety for the year, I think. They lost Dobbins for the year. Left tackle, center, both expected to be out. Just a lot of tough injuries for them, and I got the Bengals winning.
Bengals, okay. Jake, who you got?
I'm going to second that. I got the Bengals.
Let's see here. So it's at Cincinnati. This is a tough one for me. I'm going to go with... Yeah, this is tough. I'm going to go with the Bengals as well. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I just feel like there's no way the Bengals start at 0-2.
That's what I was kind of thinking about the Bills, too.
They just kind of have too good of a roster not to go 0-2. So moving on, we have, let's see here, we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. Who you got, Jaden?
I have the Lions in this one. The Seahawks did not look very good. Their pass rush has always kind of been a problem, the Seahawks. They keep drafting guys, and none of them really work out. The Seahawks are also missing both their left and right tackle. Both are going to be out. And that's just a tough scene for a Detroit pass rush that really got to Patrick Mahomes last week. I got the Lions in this one.
Jake, who you got?
The brand new Lions' first home game at Ford Field. Ladies and gentlemen, my lock of the week, the Detroit Lions.
Jake's lock of the week. All right. I am going with the Lions as well. Lions, they show that they are a good team. They beat Patrick Mahomes. Yes, did Patrick Mahomes not have a receiver? Yes. But I'm still going with the Lions as well. And then moving on, we have the Chargers versus the Titans at Tennessee. Who you got, Jake?
Yeah, that Chargers defense looked absolutely terrible, which could be a big Derrick Henry game. Very well could be, but the Titans also look terrible. And when you're just talking about who's the better team here, I think it's the Chargers. I don't think they start out 0-2, so I got a bounce back game for them. Give me the Chargers.
Okay. Jake, who you got?
I think that I think the Titans muck it up this weekend. I think they make it ugly. I think it's disgusting. I think it's a vintage Mike Vrabel, Derrick Henry game. Give me the Titans.
I like that pick, honestly. I hate the Titans, so I'm not picking them. Give me the Chargers. Chargers have a better roster. They don't. It's another one of those things. They don't start out 0-2. I don't see it happening. Bears at Buccaneers. This is a weird game. I feel like this could be a trap game. Let's say.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe the Baker Mayfield stuff enough. I predicted them in our season predictions. I said they could maybe be like last year's Seahawks, which looks pretty good as of right now. But I'm just not sure if Baker can do that 2 games in a row. But I'm still going to go with them just because I think the Bears are terrible until they show me otherwise.
Who you got, Jake?
I absolutely second Jaden's opinion. Give me the Bucs.
And I'm following with the Bucs as well. I'm just going to say this. Like I said earlier, the Buccaneers, they held the Minnesota Vikings to Kirk Cousins to a slow game. Obviously, and I think they're going to be run heavy. Like, they're going to be playing a run heavy defense, and they have a really good run defense with Vita Vea and Levante David, all those guys. I think this game is going to be a rough game for the Chicago Bears.
Real quick, something interesting for you to think about. I mean, we all think do we think the Bears are the worst team in the league?
I think the Cardinals are worse, me personally.
I'd say the Cardinals and obviously who just played, Commanders.
So either way, it's probably a top. The Bears are at least in the conversation, right?
They're a top 5 worst team right now.
And you know what happens if you're the worst team in the league? What pick you get, right?
Yeah, no way they take a quarterback though.
What if they got the number 1 pick?
No way. I don't think there's a way. Like. Yeah, we'll see how the year goes.
I think they'd really be tempted by the idea of Ohio State Justin Fields, Ohio State Marvin Harrison. I could really see that.
Yeah. All right, so moving on, we have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who you got, Jaden?
It's at the Jaguars, which makes this a little bit tough. This is obviously a big game for the Jaguars to prove that they can compete with the best of the best. But I think the Chiefs almost won last week, missing Chris Jones, missing Travis Kelce. Likely we get both of those guys back this week. I don't see the Chiefs losing this one. I think the Chiefs take care of business.
Okay. Jake, who you got?
I agree with Jaden. I got the Chiefs.
And I got the Chiefs as well. Chris Jones is officially back. They did announce that. I think that right there says enough. And their defense played good without him. So that's just going to be even better. And the Colts dominated that offensive line of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville's not a good run team. They had one big run at the end of the game. That's why they had a decent run game. I think Kansas City could win this by a big fashion. Let's see here. Moving on, Colts at Texans. Who you got?
You're gonna like me. I got your Indianapolis Colts taking down the Texans at the Texans. The only problem the Colts was like you said, the underexperienced secondary. Your defensive line, your pass rush looked great. Your offensive line looked great. I'm looking at the Texans. They don't have a guy like Calvin Ridley that can tear up your corners, and their offensive line is absolutely terrible. I think you're going to disrupt C.J. Stroud, and I think your defense is going to be able to hold them down because they're not that great. I think the Colts win this one.
Jake, who you got?
I agree 100%. I got the Colts. Man, I tell you what, that looked like a vintage Colts defense last week, to be honest with you.
Yes, it did.
Even in the secondary, Kenny Moore played well. Shaq Leonard was there.
That Brown.
Oh, yeah, Tony Brown. Yeah, he played well. But the real story is Zaire Franklin, man. He had like 18 tackles. He had a forced fumble. He
got drug tested after the game, too. I don't know if you saw that. He got drug tested after the game after that 18 tackle performance. But I'm going with the Colts as well. Obviously, if I took the Colts versus the Jags, I'm taking the Colts over the Texans. I'm not going to officially say it. I'll say it at the end of this. That might be my lock of the week. I feel like the Colts can win by double-digit performance this week. But that's not my lock of the week yet. I'll say mine at the end. Let's see here. Moving on, we have the 49ers at Rams.
I think the 49ers take this one, just because the Rams looked very good against the Seahawks team that, like I said, could not get pressure on Stafford because they don't have a good pass rush. I think the 49ers are a different story. The Rams on paper are still a terrible roster. The 49ers on paper are probably the best roster in the NFL, and I just don't think the Rams match up too well with them. I think it's the 49ers pretty easily.
Okay. Jake, what you got?
49ers easily.
Okay. So you guys are saying easily. I don't think this is easily. I think Matthew Stafford makes it a game. I feel like every time he plays the 49ers, he actually plays them really well. I think it's just from playing him with so much, playing against Shanahan so much. I think it's a good game, but I'm taking the 49ers. But I think I see it as a close one-score game. Let's see here. Giants at Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. I think the Cardinals are the worst team in the NFL. I don't think
Are they, though? They scored last week.
I don't think the Giants are as bad as they looked last week against a really elite Cowboys defense. The Giants should win this one.
Jake?
I have the Giants. I think the Giants win this one easily as well.
Yes, I have the Giants winning easily. I was just trying to get you guys to change your pick. This could very well be my lock of the week. The Arizona Cardinals is just a bad team. I can't believe I took them week 1. But this game will be a double-digit win as well, I think, for the Giants. Let's see here. We got Jets at Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with my Cowboys. I just don't. I think that Jets defense is real. They're going to really show us if a defense can win a championship. But, yeah, I just don't think their offense is going to be able to put up points. And I think the Cowboys will. So that gives them the advantage.
I'm at the point I'd give Aaron Rodgers my Achilles, both of them.
Wow.
I'd have 2 torn Achilles if he could just have his one.
That's nice of you.
But, yeah, unfortunately that's not possible. I think this could be another muck-it-up game. I think the Jets are going to have a lot of those this year. But the Cowboys ultimately prevail.
Okay. And, yep, that makes it a 3-way. I'm taking the Cowboys as well. I just don't see Zach Wilson having a good game against that Cowboys defense. Give me the Cowboys. Commanders at Broncos. Who you got?
I got the Broncos. I didn't see enough from the Commanders to make me think that they can come into there with the high altitude and take down the Broncos and Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton's going to dominate them.
Okay. Jake?
I agree, Broncos.
And I'm going Broncos as well. Commanders, not a big say-now guy. And that defense is elite with the Broncos. It'll be a rough game for the Commanders, I think. Dolphins at Patriots.
This is a really interesting week. Obviously, the Dolphins absolutely torched the Chargers, looked unstoppable. But this will be a real test for them. This will be a good game to see if they're legit, if they're going to be unstoppable the whole year. That Patriots defense, Belichick, obviously a defensive guru, he's going to give them a reality check, I think, possibly. But, yeah, I still think the Dolphins are just a much better team. I think they get the win.
Okay. Jake, who you got?
I think the reality is that the Dolphins are going to blow the Patriots out. I think we're going to have 2 Sunday nights in a row where we hate what we're watching. We're ready to go to bed.
Interesting, all right. I will take... It is so hard to go against Bill Belichick at home as well, on prime time. I feel like it's impossible to embarrass Bill Belichick. I'm actually going to go with the Patriots on this one. I'm taking the Pats. I feel like Bill Belichick is a smart enough guy to not run man-to-man against Tyreek Hill. And you'll see a lot of Jimmy G style here. I feel like you're going to see a lot of wasting the time. Ramondre Stevenson has a very good game. Zeke has a very good game. I think they just pound the ball on the Dolphins.
I definitely see that.
So, and I think at home. I think Pats win it.
I think that's going to be their plan: is keep the ball out of Tua's hands.
Yeah,
Let's control the clock.
And I think Pats get it done. So I'm taking the Pats. Let's see here. We have the Saints at Panthers.
Yeah, Panthers did not look very good last week. The Saints did. Taking the Saints.
Okay.
Easy as that.
Jake?
Saints.
And I'm taking the Saints as well. Saints are a good football team. Moving on, Browns at Steelers.
My heart's telling me to go with the Browns. It's not going to be a rain game. Hopefully, Amari Cooper is able to come back and open up Deshaun Watson a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm sold on him yet, but I expect a better game from Deshaun. I think the Browns take care of business.
Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steel City at home.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, absolutely crazy. But I think last week what we saw from the Steelers isn't what the Steelers are as a team. Even like we can talk about how bad their offense is, but even defensively, they didn't look very good. TJ had 3 sacks, but if a tree falls in a forest, does it technically fall? Like, can you hear it? So I don't know what that analogy was, but anyways, give me the Steelers.
I like it, whatever it was. I didn't even understand it, but hey, I like it. But hey, I'm taking the Cleveland Browns.
Something like that analogy?
I've never heard of it. I just think you're weird. But I'm taking the Browns, and I think the Browns get it done. I think Myles Garrett has not 1, not 2. I think he has 3 sacks on Kenny Pickett.
Do you think Myles Garrett out-sacks Deshaun Watson?
Out-sacks TJ Watt, you mean?
Oh, yeah.
Deshaun might get a lot of sacks. No, but you're saying TJ Watt?
TJ Watt, yeah.
Yes.
Browns. I disagree. I disagree because I think Deshaun will hold the ball longer, which allows TJ to get back there better.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, the Browns have a really good offensive line. Very smart coach. Obviously, Tomlin's a great coach as well, but I just feel like Myles Garrett's going to have a heyday against that Steelers' weak offensive line. So that wraps up our Week 2. Jake, are you sticking with the Lions over the Seahawks as your lock?
Lions are my lock of the week.
Okay. Jaden, who you going with?
The Bills is my lock of the week. They're such a roller coaster of a team. And at home, I could see this being one of those like huge Stephon Diggs or Gabe Davis games.
Wow, so Bills over the Raiders is your lock?
That is my lock.
Interesting.
I was tempted to go Eagles, but I didn't want to pick a Thursday game.
And then I'm taking I'm going to take the Saints. I'm going to take the Saints over the Panthers as my lock. The Saints showed me that they are a good team. And the defense is the same. The only thing that changed was quarterback, and he went in there like he was been there for 10 years. So give me the Saints. That wraps up our Week 2 summary. What do you guys have? What do you have Week 2? Anything?
I think there's a lot of games, like just going through there, I think there's a lot of games that seem like more lopsided matchups this week. I feel like last week it was tough to tell, a lot of even kind of matchups. This week I think there's going to be a lot of one-sided games.
Well, I can't tell you this much right before you say something, Jake. I put a dot next to each one we did. We have 10 picks the same. All of us.
I did notice that. We picked a lot of the same.
So, very different than last week.
It might be because of the lopsided games, like I said.
Yeah, so we'll see going forward.
I think we'll see. I think it's just because we've seen something out of every team. That's probably why. So we kind of have a better idea of
yeah, that's true.
Which is
what good teams look like and what bad teams
exactly,
look like.
which is very dumb. I mean, it's not going to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, of course not. The NFL's always been that way.
So look for, honestly, I'm actually going to be serious. Look for us to have all of us a losing week this week. I feel like we might have a losing record this week.
Mm-hmm.
Do I hope that? No, but as long as I come out on top, I don't care what my record is.
Yeah, I think a lot of these teams.
Have a losing week this week.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for tuning in.
I think a lot of these teams and these quarterbacks that we're down on this week, I could see them shaking off the cobwebs and coming out and having big bounce backs. I think that's where we could be wrong this week, for sure.
Okay, and then now, one more thing, and we're going to do final words. Give me a quarterback that blows up this week. It's just a guess. Quarterback blows up this week. Running back blows up. Wide receiver. And that's what we'll say those three.
Quarterback, running back, receiver.
Yeah, if you need a second, that's fine.
Quarterback, I got my quarterback, Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love goes off this week.
I'm going to write that down. Love, okay. Jake, do you have a running back already in mind? Or?
Not yet.
Okay, think about it. I'm going to take my quarterback that blows up this week. This is kind of on the spot, so that's the hard part. Quarterback blows up. And this is fantasy sake. This is what I'm kind of getting at right now. Let's see. I'm going to go with...
I got my running back, Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley explodes.
Okay. And then... I'm gonna go with Josh Allen. Bounces back. And then that's my quarterback. Running back. I think you'll see. Running backs are so hard because there's so many committees in the NFL. But I'm gonna say Jahmyr Gibbs has a great week on the Seattle Seahawks.
Interesting.
A little different pick. He showed that he is very explosive last week. And then my wide receiver, I'm going to go with... Well, heck, if I say Josh Allen, I'd be a fool not to say Stephon Diggs. So I'm going to say Stephon Diggs.
Is that yours? All
Yep.
yours?
So I got Allen, Josh Allen, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Stephon Diggs. A little different.
My lock of the week was the Bills, and that's obviously going to be because of a Josh Allen breakout, so mine's going to be Josh Allen. My running back is going to be Derrick Henry against that putrid Chargers defense that just can't seem to stop any sort of run at all, or pass for that matter. But yeah, I think Derrick Henry runs all over the Chargers. And then receiver, I think I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. He's had some really, really big games against the Ravens in the past. They're going to need some juice to get back on the right page after a rough start. I think Jamar Chase comes out here and takes it.
Okay, Jake? You have Love,
And then-
Saquon Barkley, and...
Yep, and then my wide receiver that blows up this week is Kadarius Toney. I think he cuts his drop total in half this week. Cuts that in half this week.
So he only has 3 catches?
And that's his blow
Yeah,
up. He doesn't have a
only
good
got
game.
2 drops this week.
Okay. But you think he has a better game?
No, actually I don't. My wide receiver that blows up, I'm biased, but it's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Amon-Ra St.
I like that too. I mean, they couldn't guard Puka Nacua, so what tells me that they could guard Amon-Ra St. Brown?
So that wraps up that. We have our locks of the week. We have our players of the week. We have all of our predictions for the week. We'll post those on Instagram, Facebook, all that gist all again. Final words. Let's get into it, and then let's have another good week too. Jaden, what do you got for final words?
Yeah. Josh Allen needs to stop playing like an idiot so he can prove my lock of the week right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jake?
The University of Louisville Cardinals face Big Ten powerhouse Indiana this Saturday. We're going to really show the Big Ten what we're made of. We want Ohio State and Michigan.
Yes. So that was, you said Louisville?
Yep.
Oh, I think you said Ball State. I was like, Ball State did really good in football the past 2 weeks versus Kentucky and Georgia.
Ohio State made $3.6 million the past 2 weeks.
Good for them. And then, so my final words is this. Colts are, or it's going to be multiple words. Colts win, 1-1, and then the Cincinnati Reds are going to make the wild card. And so I'm kind of jumping ship here, kind of going way off board what we talked about today. But Cincinnati Reds, they're a ball club, and they're going to make the playoffs. You guys have anything else?
Nope, that's
Nothing
all.
at all. All right, so that wraps this show up. If you want a T-shirt, go get a T-shirt. T-shirts should be here this week. That is what I got word from. T-shirts will be here this week. We'll start reaching out here soon. Please like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Follow us on social media. Q&A forums in our all of our social media platforms as well. Ask us questions. We'll be doing a Q&A probably here soon. We look forward to seeing you next week to kind of go over this same thing what we did today. And for right now, CFTC is out, and we'll be back here next week. See ya.